All right, the podcast mamas are back and we need to hit it with Ryan. Let's go, Ryan. Love when he kicks it off each morning.
It's time for bed, oh, it's time for you. Mom and Dad says what you gotta do. We don't care if you ain't tired. Take it from the one whom you so admired. It's bedtime for Ella Missy. Don't you cry or go a hissy. No more games and no running around, 'cause we don't wanna hear another sound. Just take your bell and get tucked in and don't make us swear again and again and again.
And I was almost swearing this morning, but it's Lenten season and I gave up spirits, swearing, and sweets for Lent. So when I caught myself throwing an F-bomb at Ella, I had to do a Hail Mary to apologize for my cussing. So I'm working on that. I'm working on that. But you never know what you're going to get when you walk into Ella's room at 6 a.m. to get her ready for school. It could be the whole bedroom has been redecorated. It could be that the computer is out, the books are out, the snacks are out. It could be that she tried on several outfits and those are out. This morning, she was in her rocking chair up in the little landing area, not even in her bed, just sleeping in the rocking chair. And I'm guessing it might be that time of the month because she had the heating pad plugged in too. It's amazing. She just cracks me up. And so then, of course, she's angry because she didn't want to get up because she didn't get good sleep last night. So then it's stomp, 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 cross the arms, pucker the lips, slam the drawer, slam the drawer. And then I really, really embrace her and give her massive hugs when she's doing that, because otherwise I just get mad myself. So I hug her and I squeeze her and I say, "Oh, I know I hate getting up in the morning too. It stinks, doesn't it?" And then she usually calms down, shrugs her shoulders, and does a couple of, yum it, yum it.
Oh, I love it. I'm with her. It's gloomy and depressing and rainy in Chicago, and I didn't want to get up this morning either.
Yeah,
So I understand.
I was looking at my weather app and I couldn't figure out where was Chicago and where was Scottsdale because they have the same weather, which is crazy to me.
Uh-huh. It is fascinating.
But we
And
have,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Was just going to say the fascinating thing about people in Chicago right now is that we had a very, very mild winter. So we barely had any snow. It wasn't even like typical crazy Chicago, yet it's gloomy, dreary, and rainy. And so people are like, I'm sick of this now. I want spring. But like it's in
It wasn't even
Chicago.
bad.
Well, and it's spring's not like close here, like we've got a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's true. That's true. Did the groundhog see his shadow?
I have no
I feel like he
idea.
did. I feel like he did, and that's why all of us are suffering right now.
I think he did. I think you're right.
Oh man. All right. Well, we have a wonderful guest to welcome back to the show, Miss Laura of Miss Laura's Life Skills, who is a previous respite hat provider, teacher, aide, the whole enchilada, who has known Ella since she was 4 years old on that first day of going to the Panda program in the summer of gosh knows, was that 2008 maybe? I don't even.
No, I met her. Well, yeah, probably or 2007.
Yeah. Okay. So welcome back, Miss Laura. We are so happy to have
Thank
you as a
you.
regular monthly spotlight guest. And I was
Hey, I'm happy to be
chuckling
here.
because I was you had messaged me and said that you had a perspective to share from the last time that you were with
Yes.
us. So, do you want to refresh our listeners about what got you fired up that you're bringing it back to the show today?
Yes. So last time I was on the show, you opened with a story that had happened, I think, the day before, a couple days before, that you were called up by your child's school teacher from the district and basically told that her main parent
Oops.
that's usually with her and is pretty much the sole para, it sounded like, that provides bathroom support was not going to be in that day. And that the other two pairs in the classroom were basically refusing to take on that duty. And so you were encouraged, told, I don't know the right wording, but you were basically asked to come pick up your daughter from school.
Mhm.
And that just
Yeah.
is not okay.
Yeah. I know. I was very confused by it and surprised because,
And so I got with I have an update on that.
oh, okay. So please
Hey.
share. You're a little spotty on your internet there. You kind of freeze up here and there. So, um, I don't know if it could be the storm. It could be the storm of 2023
Okay, hold
that's
on.
killing us here. But um, but yeah, you're whatchamajigger. You're freezing up. And oh gosh, that wind. Whee!
Let me
Oh,
see if I can try something here.
okay. Meanwhile, bathroom situations are going well over here. I mentioned I gave a plug, no pun intended, but I gave a plug for the Banatrol that we've been using on Ella, and it's really done wonders for solidifying loose stools, just making my day over here that she's able to make it to the bathroom and have a bowel movement where it should be. So that's been a highlight of my week.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last week, right?
Yep, but
Dog, whatever you'd like to call
I
it.
mean, we are still, it's still working. So that makes
Mhm.
me, giving me a lot of joy over here. All right, Miss Laura, are you back?
Yes, sorry about that. I put myself in the closet today thanks to the wind. And I
Oh, yeah.
think I'm all right. So I talked to my district rep, and she said that you can actually call up the district and ask for compensatory time if you would like, because you were denied services. Ella was denied access to FAPE, which is free and appropriate public education. Um, she could have missed her speech therapy on that day. She could have missed time with peers. I mean, whatever is in her IEP, she was denied those services.
Okay, I'm writing this down. Denied FAPE
Denied FAPE, yes,
and
FAPE.
uh-huh. And what was the one, what did you say before that?
So you are should be allotted compensatory time to make up for the time that she was sent home.
Okay, compensatory time. Wow.
Mhm.
Well, if nothing else, that should this situation occur again, I
Mhm.
will bring this to her teacher's attention and say, so let me be clear that you are denying Ella free and appropriate, what is it? Free
Public education.
public education, free and appropriate public education. Just checking to make sure that that's what we're doing today when you're telling me this.
Yes, yes. And I double checked in on the roles of the para, and I said, I didn't want to fully say because I've never worked in a high school last time what the
Right.
actual roles are. Because Nicole kept bringing that up, like, well, are they really, able to do that? And this district rep said, yeah, the para description should be even on the district website. So you should be able to look up what the job description is,
Uh-huh.
and whether you are in a preschool classroom or a high school classroom or anything in between, that description is exactly the same. So there's no reason
So they should
why.
not have said that they will not take her to the restroom.
No, they were being insubordinate,
I mean,
flat
that
out.
that was kind of my point all along is like, okay, well, what is in these people's job descriptions? Because in this instance, right,
Hmm.
refusing to do their job denies her
Yes.
services.
Yes.
or rights,
Yes.
whatever. And we all know that's a big thing nowadays. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
guess
Yes.
it's very frustrating for me
Extremely frustrating.
to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. And barest of bare minimums, she also confirmed they could have taken her to the nurse. I mean,
Right,
because
right.
like we said, we mentioned, maybe, I mean, we're all decent, empathetic human beings. We're like, maybe if they're only male paras or something, okay, maybe. But then you take her to the nurse. There's still no reason why she needed to miss any amount of the school day, even if it was just an hour.
Right.
Um, it's just absolutely unreasonable.
Wow. I mean, I guess I just didn't know. And when her teacher had presented this with me that he was off campus, her para was not going to be in, the other paras refused to take her to the bathroom. He's not sure what to do in the case that she soils herself. She's going to be sitting in it until I show up to get her, which is appalling, right? Like, what the heck?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's the district's job to provide whatever supports that she needs. And if they're unable to provide that, then they owe you.
Wow. Free and appropriate public education. FAPE. FAPE.
Yes.
So, if
Yes.
nothing else, I can go to bat with these terms and this information.
Yes.
Dang. Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully that will not happen again. But
Yeah.
I mean, and it makes me really sad. One, for the obvious reason, right? Because this is their job. Ella she's not like this barbaric, huge,
Nope.
unmanageable, aggressive child. She is a tiny 90-pound, fun loving, social, hug you if you're sad, full of empathy.
Yes.
Not that that matters, because if you do have an aggressive child that needs bathroom services, that's the way the ship sails. Sorry, you know.
Yeah.
But it even more so upsets me that she is mostly agreeable. I know she has her moments, but come on.
Well,
It's
and like we said, there's probably like a 20% chance she would have even needed support. Like,
yeah.
she can do so much on her own in that situation that it's
Uh,
very saddening.
It is. And the other thing is that I realized that Ella's acclimation back into school was, challenging. And
Mhm.
it takes some time for everybody to get used to her, her inability to communicate, whatever, and then her to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Every other week, okay, so, twice a month, I had been sending in treats for the entire class with a note that says how much the Park Hill family appreciates all that they do, listing all the paras' names, listing the
Right.
therapist names, the front
Right.
office, the nurse's aide, everybody. And
Wow.
and
That's
for
unheard
them,
of.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
just trying
right.
to express appreciation, and they
Yeah.
still are telling me that they won't take care of my daughter,
Which is their job.
which is which is their
Right,
job.
exactly.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness gracious. It is. It gets me fired up again. But I don't want to put my energy there because I want to believe that going forward, the right things will be done and that won't happen again. But at least I'm putting this little jargon and this information in a safe place so that if it does happen, I know exactly what to say. So, listeners of special needs children, should your teacher or anyone in the district for that matter tell you your child may not attend school because their aide is out for the day, remember you are entitled to free and appropriate education, faith, and it is insubordinate for a paraeducator to refuse to take your child to the bathroom if they require those services written in their IEP. And it is very easy if there is an issue with the gender or the privacy of the para that child can go to the nurse and receive this sort of support. So my goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
Terrible.
Yeah, because Ella even attends to the peers really well. So God forbid their hands were really low. Like if paras, if zero paras showed up for the day, she could have taken a peer and walked the peer with the
Yeah,
peer nurse. Like there's truly no reason why that should have happened.
I know. I know. Oh, thank you for such great information, Miss Laura.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have another question since you're on the show today.
Sure.
I think you may remember back in the fall, our teacher had presented the whole piece regarding after she graduates, she's going to need to go into a day program. And that
Yes.
certain day programs are really popular because they are wonderful. And there's actually a waiting list for
Yeah.
them. Do you have any information on such day programs? Do you know what they are? Do you have any kind of info on that?
I don't at this time because this I'm going through this with my families now too. This is my first because I started with all
Yeah.
these kiddos that were in preschool, right? So this I'm traveling these waters with you guys. I
Okay.
haven't done a whole lot of research on it yet. What I've found out is just through the families, and as I recall, we asked for packets that were promised to us from that said teacher as well several times, and I don't think we ever received those packets.
No.
So,
Yeah, that'd be something I should follow up about,
just maybe poke that teacher again.
huh?
Um,
Making
but
a
I
note.
was listening to your podcast a few weeks ago with Tatum, and I was thrilled to hear about Rainbow Bunny's plays.
I know. She had all of us choked up. That was really special to
That was,
hear that. I know.
that was a good one.
In
Yeah.
fact, if Tatum is listening to this, Tatum, I've already sent her an email because Nicole and I were like, okay, girl, you got 1 month and you got to come back on the show and be
Yes.
accountable for the update and the progress that you've made with getting Rainbow Bunny's place moving along. So
Love it.
I think I copied you, Nick, on the
Yeah.
email to
Oh, I
Tatum.
saw that. Chop,
Yep.
chop.
Haven't heard anything yet. So Tatum, we're waiting. Um, I did want to share, now that we got this kind of talking, Tom Johnson, Ella's old physical therapist, the one who actually got her to walk,
Yes.
told me there's a place called Courtney's Place.
I have heard of this place. I've
Okay.
actually run into them at a library near me recently a couple times when I've taken clients. They're there reading with
Oh,
their group.
okay, okay.
I
So,
have heard of that one. I haven't heard a lot, but I think it's one of the better ones for sure.
okay, that's great to know because Tom didn't even think that there was a wait list for that one.
Okay.
Um, So yeah, that was something that I probably need to look into because I mean, again, we're talking Ella's not going to be done with school for 3 years, but
Right.
some of them are a 2 year or at least a year long waiting list to get into.
Yeah. Well, that's why we need more, right?
Yeah, I know. People like Tatum, we need you.
Yeah.
We need you. So Miss Laura, you maybe you could make a note that when you come back to see us in a month,
Mhm.
that you can share if you've come across any, you know, if you got your recon has come through and you've found some other places that you can share for our
Yes.
listeners and for me. That'd be great.
Yes. Um, I am thinking of this place called Seeds as well. Um, and they're in downtown Phoenix. They do definitely, I will look into them more, but look into them as well. I know a kiddo that went there and they do a lot of like arts and crafts and hands-on things, but like in a more complicated fashion. Like they do a lot of woodworking, like they
Oh,
create actual items and they sell it. I think they do some jewelry making. I think they do some sewing.
wow.
They do lots of like they make real things and then they sell them. And I've gone to one of their like open houses and there was some really nice jewelry and some like some of the woodworking is just like, plaques and things, signs, small shelves,
That's great though.
everything. I think they had a whole quilt machine. I think they were like quilting um and things. So, yeah, it was like in this huge warehouse and they just had just tons of stuff in there. It was very cool.
Wow. That's
So,
incredible. I mean, and I would love to buy stuff that was made by
right.
someone with a disability. I think that makes it even more special.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I will definitely look into it because I think they even were advertising. I feel like I went around Mother's Day last year and I think they were advertising like summer programs and things as well. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess I need to come up with something for Ella for summer.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Dance
Oh,
camp again, hopefully, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, one of the blessings is how small Ella has remained in her little 18 years of life so that she can participate in these younger aged programs and blend right in, which I know is probably not the case with a lot of parents who do have children with special needs. Sometimes those kiddos are, 10 feet tall. They're big and they're
Boys
burly.
especially, yeah.
Those boys. Gosh, what do we do with the boys? What are good programs for the boys?
In the Seeds program is a boy is went there.
Summer
And
programs though, like,
sports, we just heard about, I can't even give you any real details, but a flyer came home in a backpack yesterday about, I think a baseball camp. And then that mother was explaining that she'd heard about a basketball camp.
oh great.
Um, so yeah, this will hold me accountable and I will show up next month with some
Nice.
items for you.
That's fantastic. I mean, for me, because you guys know what a pain I am when it comes to what Ella participates in, and I always want her participating in a program where she can see typically developing children because she learns from them, they learn
Right.
from her, and it's a win-win. But
Yeah.
it's hard to make that happen because, obviously Ella's intellectual ability, her ability to hold still, all of those pieces are very different, as we get older, that difference is such a large disparity, right? So my most favorite way of getting Ella to participate in any kind of extracurricular is by her having that care provider, her
Yes.
best buddy by her side to assist her in a program. So like, you've got these big boys. Well, why can't these big boys go to a typical basketball camp, but they've got like their big brother care provider, with them? I just
Which it
love,
should be. I mean, some of the camps I feel like are very open to that and understanding because it's a win-win for everybody. Like,
yeah,
I think I shared that story about the kiddo on the playground at school on the
yes,
basketball court last time and how what an impact that made on the typical peer,
yeah,
not just my kiddo.
yeah.
Um, so it truly is a win-win for everybody when inclusion is able to occur. And like you said, I mean, I feel like you guys have always done an incredible job of providing that support and you know we know Bean, if it's not going to happen that day, then the provider will do everything she needs to do to give her breaks or whatever, or ultimately pull her out if that's what needs to happen. Like, we're not there to disrupt the entire
Right,
thing,
right.
but you know that's, I mean, it's not public education, but those are the, not necessarily free, but
Yeah,
um the appropriate activities for her to attend. And like you said, she really needs those peer models, and thrives on those peer models. And
she
I
does.
mean, so if my kiddos do, they respond so much more. I mean, one of my clients, his HAB provider has two boys of her own
Okay.
that are right about at this client's age. And he's made amazing progress just hanging out in her home
Oh my
with
gosh,
those peer models,
yeah,
and he's just one of them.
yeah,
And, you know, we even started practicing little parties at home during the pandemic where we would just have this particular provider has 4 children of her own. You know who I'm talking about, Miss Carly.
Okay.
Um, and so all you have to do is invite her family over, and that's a party in and of itself.
Yes, it's so
So,
true. That's so
um,
true.
but I would still have like a visual schedule for the kiddo, but he went from like, headphones and barely being able to attend and focus to just being completely involved and taking turns in the games and just really enjoying himself. And um, I remember doing it. The first really successful one was a Valentine's Day one, and his mom sent me a picture of him later that evening, like looking over his Valentines, and like you could see he was like processing and like enjoying the memories of the afternoon, like a typical kid would. Like, oh yeah, like my friends came over today and they brought me these things, and that was really cool, and it
Oh,
was just awesome.
oh,
So that's that typical peers for you. I mean,
so much
can't.
value.
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
So
I
yeah.
know when we travel this summer, Nicole's one of our stops this summer, and
Yeah.
it is such a safe place for the Park Hills to hang out because, she's got her daughter that is so good with Ella, and even her son, who's Carter's age, is wonderful with Ella. But it's remarkable how enjoyable it is to be in their home because it's easy, and we love that so very very much. Um, but you're right, it's such an invaluable experience when the special kids get to hang out in an environment where everybody's just including, and it's just another day in the neighborhood, you know?
Yes.
So,
Everyone learns. Everyone learns.
yes.
Yes.
Nicole, your kids do volunteer work through school?
They do. Yep.
Okay. And what have they had experience in a special needs environment?
Um,
I feel like we may have touched on this before.
I believe my son, they've probably had some experience, maybe through things like Misericordia a little bit. But then my son is actually, I was going to comment on this, but I'm not sure of the specifics. But my son is part of a philanthropy group in our town in which he sits on this like student board in which they get they get some amount of money a year. It's like 10,000 or 20, I don't know. And the kids have to go around to these different organizations and kind of work with them determining who they're going to give this money to, and they learn all about like philanthropy. And I believe, based on my son's interest, he is going to be working with, and I cannot think of the name of it, but it is something with like athletics and special
Oh,
needs and that type of thing.
oh,
So more on that once I figure it out what he's going to
okay.
be doing.
Write this down because you got to circle back with us and let us know
I
what he's up
will.
to. That is sensational.
I
I
will.
love
Yeah,
that.
it's great. So
So
yay.
I'm going to share that one of Ella's brothers, the younger one, God love him. God love him. He is such a test sometimes. He is involved in a great organization called Boys Team Charity. And it's, across the map, the volunteer opportunities. It's a dog shelter, it's, Miracle League baseball, then it's serving or packaging up food at St. Mary's Food Bank. The one we are going to be doing this spring break is at Ability 360, and he is going to be helping with wheelchair tennis. So I,
Wow.
Awesome.
right? So I say to him last night, hey, guess what? Signed us up for Ability 360. And since you're a little athlete yourself, this is a great win-win. You're going to help with wheelchair tennis. And he looks at me with this face like I'm crazy. Like, what am I going to do? And I said, whatever the coaches, the program, whatever they need you to do. Some of it's like retrieving the ball, some of it's helping, the participants get from A to Z, whatever the case may be. So these types of opportunities, even this little guy of mine who grew up with his sister, And I attribute it to him just kind of being so used to her that it's hard for him to think outside of that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's still a level of ignorance there, which is
There is.
funny. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think, his sister has just always been his sister to him.
right.
He doesn't really know any different there. So,
Yeah,
um, obviously, there's such a broad spectrum of abilities throughout the world.
absolutely.
Um, that's really funny.
I know. Well, and then I said to him, "Hey, I'm going to blow your mind. Can you imagine if you were living a life in a wheelchair? Can you imagine if you didn't have these little legs that get you across the basketball court and you couldn't do these things?" So I don't
Right.
think you ever think about that. And if the one thing you walk away from is being grateful that you are a healthy young man that has the ability to do these things, please at least be grateful for that and be humble about your gifts and be helpful to others who don't have your ability. So that was how we ended our conversation in the car on the way to basketball practice last night. So even those who grow up in the house of special needs still need a reminder of what to be thankful
Yeah,
for.
right?
Oh my
Sure.
goodness
They
gracious.
do.
Well, as I get a little emotional, we only have a couple minutes left here. So, Miss Laura, thank you for coming out again. And we will look forward to seeing you at the end of March and
Good.
for your next show. So, you're going to circle back with some updates on the
Summer
program, summer
programs, and
programs.
programs.
And
Yes.
Nicole is going to share how her eldest son has participated in his philanthropy project.
Yes, we will see.
We will see. All right, you guys, let's close it out with our buddy Ryan. I'm going to share the screen so that everybody can enjoy and listen to Ryan because it's such a joy when he closes out the show. Remember, a grateful heart is a magnet for miracles, right, Nick?
It is. And hopefully you'll take a couple minutes every day just to reflect on or write down what you're grateful for. There's always so much.
Always something. Always something. Until next time, Podcast Mamas out.